Hi everybody, and welcome to Healthy Bites. Healthy Bites is a collaboration between Nevada County Media and Nevada County Public Health. My name is Shauna Schultz. I'll be your host today, and I am a nutrition educator and registered dietitian with the CalFresh Healthy Living program, and I'm really excited to be able to show you some tasty and healthy, affordable, and family-friendly recipes. In today's episode, we will be making a black bean and vegetable quesadilla. So we'll be sneaking some veggies into that quesadilla. Turns out really tasty. And you can find all of my recipes on eatfresh.org. So check out that site. It's great. And we'll go ahead and get started. So just kind of a spin on a typical plain quesadilla. Right? We're going to kind of jazz it up and add some nutrition at the same time. So we'll be using some zucchini, we'll be adding some black beans, some corn, some spinach, and some spices. And it all come together really, really nicely. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is just cook our mixture of vegetables and beans. And we'll start by cooking the zucchini. You can see the zucchini that I have here is shredded. You don't have to have it shredded, but it really kind of blends in nicely with everything else when it's a little bit smaller. But you could also do a fine dice, and that would be fine. I'm going to add it to this skillet here that I have heated on about a medium-high heat. And I have a little bit of oil in the pan. I just used this cooking spray here. But you could use any oil that you have on hand. You could even use a little bit of water or broth also if you don't want to use oil. So I'm just going to let that cook down a little bit. It should cook rather quickly because it's shredded, and so it doesn't take a lot of time at all. Next we'll add our spinach, but I do want to chop the spinach first. So I'm just going to turn that out here on the cutting board. Spinach is nice and mild, and it's a really easy leafy green to add to dishes. And kids tend to like spinach better than they like other leafy greens. So it's a good one to just kind of sneak into your recipes and kind of boost the nutrition. It has iron, it has vitamin C, it has vitamin A, it has fiber, so it's packed full of nutrients. So we'll just give it a rough little chop here, just a little bit more. That looks good. Spinach, also, as you may know if you've cooked with it before, you start with quite a bit and then you end up with just a little bit. It has a lot of water, most vegetables do, so it does shrink down quite a bit. So I'll add that to our pan here. All right. And we'll give it a quick stir. So already we have these vibrant colors. We're kind of on the way to eating the rainbow, so to speak. I like to say that a lot, and try to get as many colors as I can from fruits and vegetables into a dish. And sneaking them into dishes that you already eat at home is just a really easy way to boost your vegetable intake. All right, so next we'll add some corn. I have maybe about, a third of a cup of corn here. And I'm using frozen corn that has been thawed. Frozen corn is nice, it's inexpensive, it's sweet. And when it's frozen, it comes without a lot of sodium to preserve. But you can also use canned corn if you would like. And you can just give it a quick rinse, and that will help remove some of the sodium. Or if fresh corn is in season, then by all means use that fresh corn, because there's nothing that beats the taste of fresh corn. It's delightful. So summertime-ish, that's when corn is in season. Black beans we'll add next. I have about half a cup here. All right, so we'll add those. Give it a quick stir. And the beans are really nice as a filler and as a plant protein. So They are an excellent source of protein and an excellent source of fiber as well. So that's where we're getting our protein from in this dish. And then we'll go ahead and add a little spice. So I just used like a basic taco seasoning, easy to buy at the store. And typically it's just a mixture of paprika and cumin and some garlic, maybe some onion powder. You can get it spicy, not spicy. This kind came in a jar, so it doesn't have any salt that's been added, but it does help add a lot of flavor. Now you can also use miscellaneous spices that you have on hand at home too, and that's fine as well. So see how easily this comes together. And we have a good mix of vegetables. We've got some protein in there, and it's pretty much ready to go. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this mixture aside, and I'm going to get out another skillet so that we can finish assembling the quesadilla, and then we'll begin to cook it. And then I have a fun little variation to show you as well. So I'm going to scoot this over here. Let's grab our other skillet. I'm going to get this heating. And I'm just going to spray it with a little bit of cooking spray. And we'll get out our tortillas. All right, so you can see I'm using a whole wheat tortilla, flour tortilla. I like the whole wheat tortillas because they are a whole grain. Most people are not really eating enough whole grains, so this is an easy way to sneak some into your diet. They are more filling, they have more fiber, and you kind of get you on your way to your whole grain intake for the day. So we have our tortilla here. I'm going to, on one side, I'm going to kind of keep all of the ingredients on one side so that it's easy to fold over. But I have some shredded cheese here, and you can use really whatever you have on hand. I had mozzarella on hand, so I'm using mozzarella, but you could use cheddar. You could use a Mexican blend. Anything is really fine. And then we'll go ahead and spoon some of our mixture on here. And you can see we have a good amount of filling here. So this will make quite a few quesadillas, at least 4, be enough for 4. You could always double it if you want to make more, if you want to have extra. And I'm going to try really hard not to overfill it. That is something that I tend to do very easily with things like quesadillas and tacos and burritos. So we'll fold over our tortilla, and then we'll add it to our skillet that's been heating here. I'm going to kind of turn up the heat here a little bit, and we'll get this cooking. It should only take a few minutes on each side, or just until the cheese melts, and then it's pretty much ready to go. All right, and we have a pretty balanced meal in this tortilla here. All right, so a quick variation that I wanted to show you. And this variation is a dairy-free variation. So if you don't eat dairy, if you're plant-based, this is something fun to try so that you're not missing one ingredient, which would be the cheese. Now, you could use a dairy-free cheese, and that would be fine, but sometimes they don't taste as good. And what we can add instead is just some mashed sweet potato. It adds a lot of flavor. And so what I did with the sweet potato was I just cubed it and I steamed it until it was soft, and then I mashed it, and then I added some spices. So I added a little bit of salt, I added some taco seasoning, and then to kind of give it a cheesy-like flavor, I added some nutritional yeast. And if you haven't used nutritional yeast at home before, it's a wonderful ingredient. You can find it at most grocery stores. Sometimes it's in the bulk food section, but it gives a cheesy flavor. And sometimes it's also fortified with vitamin B12, which is great if you are plant-based, because most people get their B12 through animal products. So we're just going to give it a quick little spread here. And so it'll give like a really creamy consistency, and it'll add a lot of flavor. So you won't be missing the cheese that's in a typical quesadilla. One thing to note also is that when I steamed the potatoes, I left the peels on. If the peels are edible, I leave them on most of my vegetables, because when you peel your vegetables, you lose a decent amount of fiber and antioxidants and some vitamins and minerals. So if it's edible, you can leave it on and it'll just blend right in. All right, so I'm gonna pause and go back to our other quesadilla here that's cooking. And I'm gonna give it a quick turn, see how we're doing. All right, we're cooking up pretty nicely there. And then we'll go ahead and finish assembling this quesadilla. So we'll add some filling on top of our mashed sweet potato. So now with this variation, we're even getting more vegetables, which is always good. All right, I think we can do a little bit more. Put this back over here. And then same idea. We're just going to fold this up and we'll put this aside to cook. You can, cook it whenever you want, have it with the same meal, that's fine. And I'm just going to peek in here and we can see our cheese is starting to melt. That looks really nice. You can let it get as crispy as you would like it, as hot as you would like it. I usually just kind of wait until the cheese melts. Usually I'm really hungry and I'm ready to eat that thing. So let's go ahead and put it on our cutting board. And in the meantime, I'll get this one going over here. We'll slice it in half. And we are ready to eat. Now you can top this with what other ingredients you would like to. I would use maybe something like salsa. I might sprinkle some cilantro on there, maybe some sliced avocado. You could put a little bit of sour cream, whatever toppings you like, or you could just eat it as is. So I really hope that you're able to try this dish at home. And thank you so much for joining me. As a reminder, you can find this recipe on eatfresh.org, and I will see you next time. Thank you.